If you're always doing lots of revisions, it's because you're not presenting a mood board to your clients first. Doing mood boards as a brand designer is the key to having a smooth project process, and it increases the speed of making design decisions. Now, what is a mood board? It's a curated selection of images that you get from online. It can be inspired by a whole bunch of different categories. It can be from books, it can be from courses, it can be architecture, it can be from movies, it can be from poster designs or something you find on the street. You might see some graffiti. It can come from anywhere. And so it's all about capturing the vibe, the style, or the atmosphere of the brand. It's all about creating a feeling, an emotion, and getting ideas. And a mood board is a fast and quick way to quickly get inspired and help you kick off that design process. Because if you don't start with a mood board, then you're just going to go off your personal experience or things that are already in your mind, or maybe things that you've done in the past for clients. Now, the reason why I think it's really important you do a mood board is because if you go blind into the design process, you're not going to know if you're going to resonate with the client, if your design is going to make sense, if it's going to be logical and objective. Because if you just start designing and then show your client, you're basically doing the magic reveal, which I do not recommend you do, right? Presenting a mood board will allow your client to see the type of directions that you're thinking of going in. So you might have direction one, a bit of a safe direction, something that might be in line with, what they want. And then you might have a more risky version, and then one that's really adventurous, and maybe the colors are very bold and vibrant, and the imagery is more like in your face. And so it reduces guessing in the process, and it will ultimately reduce the amount of revisions. Because if you are aligned and are on the same page as your client, then ultimately what's going to happen is that when you present the directions, they're not going to be shocked. They're going to be like, oh, this is similar to what you showed me in the mood board stage, right? And so that's why it's really key. And another thing to keep in mind is that it's way faster to do a mood board and quickly throw images together instead of jumping into the design process, which can take a week or 2 weeks or days even, and spend all your time designing, and then it doesn't align with the goals, objectives, and the user and the client. And so then you wasted all that time, and you're going to be doing revisions for who knows how long, right? And then you get stuck in this cycle where you're redoing concepts, and you're on the 5th revision, and you're hating life, and you're frustrated, and we don't want that, right? So make sure you do a mood board. Now, typically when you do a mood board, you do it after the discovery phase. So after you've done the research, competitor analysis, you've looked online as well, done research on the brand personality, gone through a discovery workshop with your client, understanding the user, the audience, the goals, etc. And then after that, that's the best time to do the mood board. And then sometimes you can present it as a standalone presentation, which is typically the better way to do it. And then you move on to the design phase, which usually starts with, sketching logos and then doing the logo, etc. And so I want to show you some really cool mood board examples of how you can actually lay out your mood board, because there's different ways you can actually lay it out. You can go heaps modern and have sort of a simple grid system. Other people like to do sort of a collage where they mix and mash and overlap objects, which is kind of really cool. You can also do a more professional way of doing it and just having a simple layout of images. Other people like to, go on Pinterest and just create a mood board on that. And so creating the mood board, doesn't matter how you lay it out, as long as it resonates with your style and your brand, your personal branding, or maybe your agency branding. Typically do that. I like to just have a simple grid with lines in between just to make it neat. And so I'll make clipping masks and drag and drop the images into that. And I typically like laying it out like that. Now, what are some things that you want to put in the mood board? You want to put things like logos, typography, images, patterns, icons, brand colors, photography, architecture. These are the type of things that you want to put in a mood board. And it's okay to get inspired from Behance, Dribbble, Pinterest, get images from those sites. It's totally fine, because remember, a mood board is just inspiration. It's not the exact thing you're going to create, right? It's just there to give a sort of sense of direction on where you're going. And so just remember, you're trying to capture the essence of the brand, the personality, the vibe, the style. And so make sure that the images are cohesive together, they fit, that they're all sort of intertwined or connected in some way. And so you want to make sure that it feels consistent and not too just jumbled, right? And that's why you sort of do maybe 2, 3, 4 different mood boards. And so you can do them very differently from each other, and so you have different directions so the client can pick based on your recommendations, because at the end of the day, you're the designer, you're guiding the directions, and so you choose what you put on that mood board, and then you can select based, you can recommend these are the 2 directions I prefer, but here's a couple other mood boards that I've done. That's something you can say when you present to the client. Always remember to not skip this phase, because we don't want to be doing revisions, we don't want to waste each other's time, and you want to make sure that you're on the right track. I really hope this video helped you. If you do want to see more like this, subscribe. And if you want to see me actually design a stylescape instead of a mood board, you can click this video right here and watch that, and watch how I design a stylescape for a real client.